Hey folks, Justin from Tackle Tactics. Today I want to share with you a quick little session I had out on the water. About an hour and a half of run out, fishing a drain area, chasing bream and flatties on what has become one of my favourite ZMan plastics, and that is the ZMan 2.5 inch prawns. So I reckon this is the best prawn imitation I've ever fished. The fish just eat it off the bottom. They eat it when you twitch it. They eat it when you flick it on the surface. It's very realistic. It's got a great kick in the water and the fish love it. So hopefully you enjoy this little video segment and it gives you a few tips for getting out yourself and getting stuck into some bream and flathead on this deadly little ZMan 2.5 inch prawns. Fish on. My favourite opening line. Yep, there we go. Finally got one to stick. Doesn't feel real big. That's why we're not hooking them. Looks like a bunch of angry little Moses perch up in the drain here. What a beautiful little fish. Angry little guys too, those guys. That'll be what's rattling my prawn to pieces. Well, not to pieces because it's 10 times tough, but that's what's in there. Working the bait, so that's okay, because if there's a whole bunch of little Moses perch in there, there's probably a flathead in there as well. If it's not eating the same bait as the Moses perch are eating, it's eating the Moses perch. So we'll keep pushing up in here, see if we can find that flatty. Yep, there we go. What are you? Make you feel a bit better. This one's a bit angry. Oh yeah. Are you a flatfish or are you silver? That's on the 1/8 ounce 1.0. It's a nice bream by the looks. 1/8 1.0 HeadlockZ Finesse. That's that fine gauge Gamakatsu hook built for these sort of dudes, and that's opening night 2.5 inch ZMan prawns, and that's a solid bream. Not a bad first fish of the morning. Have a look at that then. He's in there. Oh, he's in there with those Moses perch. That's a cracker. He's a nice fish. Let's put him on the lie detector just to have a look. 34 tipper, so he's a decent bream, that's for sure. Alright, let's get that jig head out of him. Get him back in the drink. One thing I love about fishing this prawns is you're dead set and never know what's going to eat it next, because everything eats a prawn. So we've already caught a bunch of different species on it. Bream love it, flatties love it, grunter love it, and I see you guys out there catching more and more different species on it as well, which is really cool. Tailor, mangrove jack, cod, jacks, barra, bass, reddies I think as well, heaps of different species. Right, we'll push back up to this patch of bait again. Nice to get a big bream out of there and amongst those Moses perch and whatever bait that's in here. Looks like some sort of little silver bait fish. Yep, there we go, there's another eat. So those fish are sitting under that bait. Just chowing away, easy feed. you? Another nice brim. How's that? I'm in a tiny little drain cracking some nice brimbos because they're in here after that bait. They could have even been in here on the night tide. That's another nice brim, not as big as the other one, but just lipped, just pinned in the lip with that chemically sharpened gamma hook. Beautiful. He's lassoed himself. He's actually, the plastic's in there now. There you go, that's pinned nicely on that gamma. That's a deadly brim hook, that's for sure. Another nice brim. Not a giant, but he's alright. Those brim are just engulfing that little prawn. They're not hesitating at all. They think it's a prawn, so they're just inhaling that thing. So that opening night colour has definitely proved successful for me in the clearer water, and when the sun, you know, a bit of sun to catch that flash, seems to stir up a few bites for sure. We'll go back to that little patch of bait and see if we can get another fish out of it. The drain that we're fishing is probably maybe a foot to 2 foot of water, so half a metre of water thereabouts or something. Right up the end here where we are, so we're not fishing heavy, fishing a 1/8 ounce jig head. More so the weight is for getting casting distance. You know, you could get away with lighter weight heads in here, but the 1/8 is good for casting distance so that I'm not spooking fish. I'm getting a fair way up the drain there so that I'm staying back from the fish that I'm trying to catch. If I lighten up too much more, I won't get as much distance, potentially spook the fish. Oh yep, there we go. I ate it on the paws. Little flatfish this time, is it? Oh no, another brimbo. Another nice brim. He ate that on the paws, so I gave it a couple of... Oh, he's away. I just landed on top of a fish. That is crazy. I've just parked the yak back in the weed here, and I'm casting to the other side over there, and I've just landed on top of a fish. That's madness. That's a cranky fish too. It's got to be a flatty, that one. That is, I didn't even get to wind. I cast and then I felt weight, and that flatty was sitting on there. He's not going to want to come into the shallows here where I am. Love that scream of that Ceymar drag. Yeah, not happy camper. Oh, it's a flatty, it's a nice flatty. Rocket flatty. Come on, buddy. Come up into the shallows and into this landing net. Beautiful. Wow, that is a tank, little tank of a flatty, that one. How's that? You can see I'm sitting in the weed here. Just parked the kayak in the weed so I can cast over at that other bank. That has landed, and it must have landed right in this guy's mouth, because that is, he has scoffed it. Get rid of that net out of the way so I can show you where this plastic is. Look at that down there. That is right down. He has absolutely just, it's landed in his mouth. He's not a bad flatty. He's a good eating size fish. He's maybe mid-50s. What is going on there? There's a bait fish down there too. There we go. There goes the bait fish out of him. So there you go. That's the versatility of our prawn. You know, we can twitch it a bit higher in the water column. Brimbos eat it. They love it. Nice little flatty. Drilled as well. That one is for Nan. We're going to keep that one for Nan. And then we'll send a few of his mates back if we find a few more. A couple of pelicans feeding further up in that drain, so I might push up a bit further again. Good thing about the yak, we can push up into no water and have a bit of a look. Yeah, let's do that. Let's push up a little further. So how's this? It looks like there's probably maybe half a metre max of water through this drain, but great thing about the yak, I can sneak right up in here. The fish may have moved out of this section with the water dropping, but worth poking up in here for a bit of a look. Oh yep, there we go, fish on. How's that? I just sat the paddle down to adjust I picked up the paddle to adjust position, left the prawn sink to the bottom, and that prawns has been drilled. Oh mate, they just eat it. I'm in love with this little thing, that's for sure. It is just a beautiful presentation. That's another cracker bream right up in this drain. That's nice, look at that thing, another nice bream. That's brilliant. That just sat on the bottom. Being naturally buoyant, that elastic, that would have just sat bum up in the air, and that fish has just come along, slurped it up off the bottom. Brilliant. He's a bit smaller, maybe around that 29 or something. Yeah, 28, 29 centimetre bream, so a little bit smaller fella. I really want to do minimal paddle strokes in here and just try not to disturb anything, because it is a tiny drain now. There's still bait up here. Oh, what was that? There's another fish just there. What was that on the surface? Just ate. That was brilliant. Man, there's no water in this drain. How are all these fish holding up in here? They're just pushing the bait up into that drain and having a feast. He scoffed it as well. Get in here. Don't bite me off. I need to stop playing silly buggers and get even the knees on their little fella. But that's very cool. So he's not a big fish, but he has inhaled that prawn as well. They really want to eat it. How big are you, buddy? He's about a 41, 42. Illegal if you want to eat him. Little dusky. Wrapped up a little bit here. I'm holding him just under that front set of fins, so that his spikes, I can't get his spikes, that's his spikes there. I'm holding him just under the two fins, he's just sitting there. Alrighty, might have to do a bit of a leader retying again. We'll get this guy off, retie that leader, and we'll get back into it. Here comes the pelican. Does he want to eat me, or what's he saying? Alright, fish on. Chewed up leader again, scoffed again. I don't mind them eating that far down. Shows that they're definitely keen to eat it. That's a good sign. 2 pelicans still up there eating. That means there's plenty of bait in there. I'll just retie this guy again and we'll get back into it. So what I'm basically doing is I've got a dropping tide, the water's coming off the flats out of this big drain. I'm working my way up into the drain, and when I cast, I throw a cast to the left hand side of the drain, to the middle, to the right hand side of the drain. I just keep working my way up. It's not no magic to it or anything like that. All I'm doing is systematically working the drain. So you know, I'm flick to the left, flick to the right, flick to the middle, and also additional attention to any bait that I see working in there. So if there's a patch of bait there, I'll cast right amongst that bait, or any sort of disturbance from fish feeding. Those pelicans are rounding bait up in there. You can see them working together to round up the school of bait. So if those guys are still working bait, we're going to keep working up in here even until we run out of water. Because if there's that much bait up in there, it's going to be holding fish up in there. The prawn is a perfect imitation for a situation like this because I can rig it and fish it light, work it slow, work it fast, cover plenty of water, but pick those pockets, and it's, you know, it's the natural sort of food that fish are going to find up in here. So they see a prawn, they're not thinking twice about eating it, they're just eating it, which is great. They're eating it aggressively, they're really smashing it. Now the only trick as we get up further and further in here is it's getting weedier and weedier, so it's harder to work the plastic without fouling with weed. But we do have another trick here for that. We'll give it a quick run now. So we've pushed right up in here, there's pretty weedy. So I've got a NedlockZ EWG rigged here with an absolutely beautiful colour in the 2.5 inch prawns. That's the blood oil, cross between motor oil and bloodworm, and you can see that's going to keep that weed off. So I've got it on a NedlockZ EWG 1/10 ounce. Could even go a 1/15 up in here, it's shallow, but 1/10 ounce will be okay. And that weedless factor will allow me to just throw it without fear. Pretty much cast it anywhere in here, work right into the edges, right into the pockets. And because it's a LazTac, 10 times tough, super soft and flexible, when that fish bites it will clear the hook and we get a solid hook set, but we're not catching that weed as we work through these pockets. Yep, there we go. There we go. Oh, what was that one? Fell off. Might have just had a bit of a hole in the tail, little fella. There's some little fish up in here, probably a Moses perch, small brim. They're giving the prawn a little bit of a rattle. I want to catch them. I like this little pocket just here. Yep. What are you jumping out of the water? Little pocket rocket flatty. I like the look of that little pocket. Oh wow, that's beautiful. What a cool little dude. He's tangled up a little bit in the process. How's that? He scoffed that. He's hooked. He's hooked right in the corner of the jaw. That little flatty. That pocket looked brilliant, and that little bloke was sitting in it. That's so cool. Whoa, no buddy, no, out you go. Go on the out tray. We definitely don't want free roaming flathead in the kayak, that's for sure. That's brilliant. That shows you how easily that hook clears. Doesn't have to be a big fella to clear the hook, so that's brilliant. Oh, these pelicans are leaving. I should push up in and have a crack at that bait because they must feel like it's on the way out. Come on, mate. Come on, we want to send you back. You're away. Back to terrorise that bait. Alright, there's not much drain left, but we'll push up further anyway and have a look. One more throw, right up the end. Not much water up there. You can still see little sprays of prawns where tiny fish are terrorising whatever's in here. Got a nice breeze coming. It's going to push us back out, so we're actually just going to drift out slowly with that breeze. Alright, let's change back to our opening night, 1/8 and work our way back out of here. I'm not going to muck around too much up in this narrow stuff because we would have spooked most stuff coming in here. So just going to get back out a bit to where there's a little bit more width in the drain, a little bit more depth. If we could come in here and there could be no bait, nothing happening, no fish, and then, you know, we'd just move on to another flat, another drain. You just got to find that bait. There's a lot of bait here today. Find the bait, find the fish. It's an old saying, but it's definitely one that rings true. There's a lot of bait in this drain, and we've already caught, you know, a bunch of fish. It's been good fun, quick time. So now we're just going to drift our way out, see if we can get one or two more on the drift back out. Get home, get out of the heat. Should probably start getting busy out here now too, being a public holiday, I'd say. We'll have all toboggans and jet skis and tow tubes and all the fun and games. Good on them, not good for fishing though. So you can see what I've done here. I'm basically, it's still too narrow for me to fish both sides real easily, so I'm sitting myself more on this side because this over here looks like the more productive side, so I'm giving myself room to do a short cast to the more productive side. When I'm fishing along an edge like this, prime spots to cast will be those gaps in between the weed because fish could be holding up in those gaps. Also points, if there's water movement, any pressure points where the water's pushing or creating eddies behind the structure, and anywhere where there's bait concentrated on the edge. So we're just working the edge, but more attention to those like that there, where that bait just blew up. So more attention to those areas where there's prime structure, bait and water movement. Yep. Again, I went to adjust with the paddle. The fish ate it. They just eat these things. They're brilliant. Massive fan of these prawns. I love a prawn. Fish love a prawn. So many different fish species eat a prawn. It's no wonder that these things get eaten. What are you? You feel like a decent flatfish. You are a decent flatfish. Just sitting right on that edge. So we've fished our way into the drain already. We're fishing our way back out. But we're staying off those two edges because we don't want to spook these guys. That's a fair size swamp monster. Don't bite me off because we want to have a look at you. Don't bite me off. Come back here. Great fun on the 1 to 3 kilo TT red belly and the 1000 Ceymar HD, 6-pound braid, 10-pound leader. Hopefully that 10-pound leader holds because this is a bit of a croc. Not a mega croc, but definitely a decent flatfish. Come on, this time. Where are you taking me? We don't want to go into that shallow stuff. That's a fair croc. Let's get you in, get a photo and get you back here. Here we go. Here we go, in the net. Oh, look at that lump. That is a chunk of a fish. Gotta let some line off here. That is a chunk. What a cracker. So there you go, folks. We've already worked up in that drain. We're working our way back out slowly. And boom, fish on. That's a great fish. Okay, Murphy's Law says that every day of the week when you catch a nice flatty like that, your GoPro battery is going to go flat. So that's exactly what just happened. GoPro battery went flat, and I'm trying to handle this big girl here. She is a beautiful fish. Oh, I really don't want to knock you around. We want to put you on the measure. So let's have a quick measure on you, and then we're going to let you go. Spin around. That's a cracker, mate. Look at that thing. What are you talking about there? I reckon that's every bit of 68, close to 70 centimetre flatty. Have a look at that girl. What a beast. Beautiful fish. You have scoffed that prawn right down. Gotta try and get that out of here now without getting bitten. Don't bite me. Don't bite me. Don't bite me. Stop biting me. Alright, prawns out. Prawns out from deep down in the hatch there. I want to take you off the grips. I'm going to hold you up so we can have a look at you. You are a beautiful flathead. Look at that thing. What a weapon. That is a tank of a fish. About 68 centimeters and nice and heavy and fit. What a fish. Brilliant. Oh, how good's fishing. That's so cool. We've had a beautiful little session in here this morning, and then to watch a big one like that swim away, I'm pumped. Pumped. My little prawn, just ZMan 2.5 inch prawns, opening night, great colour. Need to redo my leader again, but what a fish. Hopefully you guys get out and get stuck into a nice one soon. All right, folks, there we go. A cool little session. Hour and a half of run out, fishing into a bit of a drain and some edges on what is rapidly becoming one of my go-to presentations, and that's the 2.5 inch ZMan prawns. Deadly little realistic prawn imitation, a stack of different species, love it. And as you saw this morning there, quick session, few nice brim, couple of flatties, and then finishing off with that nice big flatty that we sent on her way, and it was nice to watch her swim away. So the sun's climbing up in the sky now, it's getting a bit glary. It is an absolute glass out of a day. It's going to get super busy. So I've had my fun for the morning. I'm going to head back home now, have some brekkie, and maybe sort out a bit of shed ready for the new boat. So stay tuned. All the best with the fishing. Cheers.